Welcome into the Ken Nickel Arena for Senior B lacrosse action between the second place Edmonton Miners sitting at 6-3-1, visiting the Beaumont Outlaws sitting in fifth in last place currently in the Alberta Senior Lacrosse Circuit at 1-7-2. Both teams come in with plenty to play for in this game. The Miners looking to track down the Mountaineers for first place, who are 5 points ahead of them at the moment with just about 4 games to play, while the Outlaws sit 1 point behind the Rebels for that coveted last playoff spot in the senior circuit. As we look and approach this game right now, we will get you the starting goaltenders for the Beaumont Outlaws. It will be Scott Cavalinas. And down in the Miners' end, it will be Cam McLeod. And as we get ready to go here off the draw, it's going to be Kim with it as he pops the draw to himself, and he goes right in on Cavalinas, who shuts the door. Ball's going to be thrown out, and the Outlaws will head up and play some offense. Here's Joe Royer with it. The rookie out of the Edmonton Warriors lacrosse program. Ripped up the Junior B League the last couple of seasons. Here's one Greniak off the left side, Panther City. You might know him from the NLL. Dallin Rye goes low. And a winding shot is taken by the Outlaws off the right side as they recover the loose ball. Ball swung down low. Here's Royer out of the corner with it. He fires it in on McLeod, and he's going to smother that and look to outlet. Turnover there, and Horlak is going to recover the ball for the Outlaws, and they'll get their offense back onto the floor. The delayed penalty coming up as well, so they'll look to slow this down. Here's Osterman, captain for the Outlaws. Hands off to Horlak. Excuse me, that's Dallin Rye with it. Now to Greniak. Up top to Joe Royer. Royer swings it to Greniak. He took a sidearm that was soaked by a minor defender. And now the Outlaw power play will go to work as referee Wes Kendall signals too many men on the minors. And here we go. The Outlaws power play going to work. Here's Wengreniak. Wengreniak to Rye. Rye over to Horlak. He swings it. Ball ends up back with Joe Royer off the right side. That's going to be stopped by McLeod, and the Miners will outlet. McLeod with a nice long pass to Milne, who's going to circle back. And the Miners offense will try to kill some of this time here with Triolo, the big man up top. Ever so dangerous. He goes far side with a pass to a cutting Levi Anderson. That was stopped by Cavalinas, and the Outlaws will go back to work on the power play. Here's Joe Royer with it. He's going to bring it up for the Outlaws. Here's Rye up top. As the Outlaws a little slow to hit the floor here on this power play. Only 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here's Wengreniak. Wengreniak fires that off of Morgan. The minor defender, aggressive there on the box, jumps that, and that goes up out of play. It'll be a Outlaw reset. Here's Rye. Horlak. He jumps down the right side and takes a sub shot that gets blocked again. The Miners soaking a bunch here early. Here's Horlak off the right shooter, up top to Rye. Rye to Wengreniak. He fires. That goes wide. And here's Williamson in transition for the Miners. He's going to push pace. Now he's going to stop up, get the ball to Triolo. Triolo with about 25 seconds to go on the kill. And 17 minutes to go in this first period. Still scoreless. Triolo. He's going to stand on the half wall. He fires a pass inside to Anderson, who was stopped up there a little bit by Gillespie. Now Anderson will roll that into the corner as the shot clock expires. And with only 5 seconds on the power play, it looks like the Miners will escape this Outlaw power play opportunity unscathed. And here, as we go back to 5-on-5, here's Joe Royer off the half wall. Right side, Royer goes underneath his defender. Now he comes back up top. Little drag move, and that's going to be stopped by McLeod, and Jason Riley, the veteran defender, is going to grab it. And now here's Lintz up over center with it. 3-on-2, Miners. Lintz comes in behind the back to Milne. Milne on the wrong side of the floor had to sort of shovel that into Cavalinas, and the Outlaws will grab and go up floor. As the Outlaws look to go back on the offensive side of things. Here is Horlak, the CROW alum. Had a big season in St. Albert last season, putting up near 100 points, if not over. And that shot was sent in by Wengreniak. And the Outlaws are going to get the reset on the loose ball. Good work there. As Rory Sharon, and can't quite see the number, but another minor defender did a good job of harassing the Outlaw offense there. And the Outlaws are going to have only 12 seconds to work with here on this possession. Here's Wengreniak. He tried to flip back up top. That's going to go loose, and all Joe Royer is going to be able to do with the shot clock winding down is roll it into the corner. And here's the minor offense. Here's Christensen. Christensen over to Anderson. Anderson is going to swing it back over to the right side. Triolo back over to Anderson. Anderson. Nice flip pass inside. And that was a good stop by Cavalinas on the far side. And it'll be a reset here for the Miners. Good tuck underneath there. That's going to go wide, and it'll be Outlaw ball. That was Sonicson off the left side. Here's Royer. Up top to Rye. Rye back to Royer. Horlak. Wengreniak. Back to Royer. Royer looking for some space. Pick set there by Rye. And Royer's going to shoot that into the equipment of McLeod. And now he's going to outlet up to Riley. 2-on-1. Riley. He's got DiGirolamo, and he sails that over his head. And now Riley cleans his man out on the back, and they're going to get him for a cross check, it looks like. Won't be a check from behind, but it'll be based on the signal. Yeah, Wes Kendall's going to say cross check, so it'll be an outlaw power play for the next 2 minutes or less. And the Outlaws are going to want to try and capitalize on one of these early opportunities as the keys to the game here coming in. If you're the Miners, you want to jump on the Outlaws early, break their spirit a little bit. And if you're the Outlaws, well, you want to try and swing the ball east-west as much as you can and pull that Miner defense, which is pretty compact, apart, to open up the middle of the floor and get some looks on the inside. And they're going to say that goes off of a Miner defender, and it'll be an Outlaw ball with a fresh 30. Here's Rye up top. He plays catch with Horlak now to Wengreniak. Rye. Down to Royer. Now it's sent back up to Rye. Royer, the quick stick. That goes wide. Ball's going to bounce into the boards. Picked back up by Wengreniak. Rye. Over to Horlak. Horlak fires it. Outlaw was taken down there up top, and now he mishandles it. Now Lintz is going to pick up the loose ball as he heads over center and avoids the time count with relative ease. Lintz is going to wait up. Christensen. Right along the boards, and that's going to be sent over and back. And it'll be Outlaw ball. Breakaway opportunity. Here's Gillespie. Gillespie decides not to shoot it as he pulls it out and lets the Outlaw power play hit the floor. Again, the Outlaws a bit slow here to get their power play onto the floor. We've seen that a couple of times here. Here's Rye. Rye. Pick set by Royer. Rye takes that shot low far side. McLeod, who you've seen has a really good outlet pass, set up numerous fast breaks, hits Williamson. Williamson in tight to Triolo, and that ball jammed him up, but he was able to reach around Cavalinas before stepping in the crease. And the Miners score shorthanded and take an early lead, 1-0. And that was a great display of athleticism there, in tight by Triolo. That's a tough pass to handle, and he was able to catch it almost down by his knees and tuck it far side before stepping into the crease. Good finish there by the veteran righty. Now off the draw, the ball is going to be won by the Miners, and now the older Gillespie. Two brothers going at it here tonight. Michael for the Outlaws and Nathaniel for the Miners. Nathaniel is going to wait along the far wall for somebody. Still shorthanded. Here's Christensen. Christensen is going to outweight a little bit of a check there and swings it over to Anderson. Anderson winds and fires, and that's going to go wide. Now they signal reset, but it's going to be in the stick of Cavalinas, and it'll be Outlaw ball. And Levi Anderson, of course, the longtime Calgary Raider in the Junior A loop, and then Coquitlam Adnek in the WLA, decided to come back to Alberta and play for the Miners, maybe chase a President's Cup appearance a little bit. That's a big addition for the Miners, as Anderson is a big-time threat on that left side. Can do a lot. Can feed, can finish, and is really shifty with and without the ball. Here are the Miners back on offense. Here's Triolo. Triolo up top, directing traffic. Triolo hits DiGirolamo. DiGirolamo swings that over to Anderson. Anderson down underneath. Flips back up to Sonicson, and Sonicson winds and fires. They're going to say that shot came in late. And either that or they called some type of interference call. I don't know, but it's going to be Outlaw ball. Here's Horlak. Horlak's going to come up over center for the Outlaws. He gets it to Osterman. The captain's going to come up high with it. He swings it over to Wengreniak. Wengreniak's going to take his man a little bit here. He hands off to Birdney. Birdney just sort of flips that over top of the net. They're going to say that hit McLeod, and they get a reset. Not quite sure how that hit him, but got a piece of him, and it'll be outlaw ball here with a fresh 30. Here's the Outlaws with it off the right side. You can hear it, or I don't know if you can hear it, but their bench is yelling, swing it. And as I said earlier, that's something they're going to need to do to pull this compact Miners defense apart and open up some inside looks. They've had to basically settle for outside shots here so far, and they're going to have to try and open something on more dangerous areas of the floor as Lintz comes in with an opportunity in transition. Good stop there by Cavalinas. As the Miners offense will hit the floor. Here's Christensen and Bergloff off the bench off the right side. Anderson has it on the left side. He shoots that. That was a good soak by the Outlaw defender, Gillespie. Now he chases his man down into the far wall. Ball's going to go loose. Good work and effort there by Gillespie as he harasses Bergloff. Ball's up top with DiGirolamo. Quick swing there to Triolo. Triolo off the half wall. He tried to go far side, top cheddar. That missed. Now they're going to signal reset. It'll be a fresh 30 for the Miners. Triolo again, as you see, directing traffic. Wants the Miners to space the floor a little bit differently. A little bit wider, perhaps. Now, the ball's going to be picked up in behind the net by Anderson. Cavalinas didn't know he had it. And Anderson probably could have flipped that into the cage, but didn't realize that Cavalinas didn't realize he had it and tried to send it back out in front, and eventually the Outlaws are going to pick it up. As we sit here, 9:09 to go, first period. Miners leading the host Beaumont Outlaws by a score of 1-0. Here's Royer up top to Rye. The youngest of the Rye brothers, Dallin, swings it over to Wengreniak. Wengreniak is going to take Duff one-on-one. He flips inside to Osterman, and Osterman took a shot. That missed. Loose ball here by Wengreniak. Shot clock winding down. He fires it in on McLeod. Loose ball there by the Outlaws. That's Rye. And he shovels it back to Wengreniak. Wengreniak goes over to Horlak. Outlaws going to operate off the right side here. Here's Osterman. Throws a pass to Royer. He sends it over to Wengreniak, who tried to fire it in behind the net. Now the ball's picked up by Royer out in front. He sends it behind the back into McLeod, who fights that off. Now in behind the net again is Rye. Out in front to Osterman, who looked to try to one-hand that almost. Send that back on McLeod. Ball popped in the air. And here are the Outlaws. Burdney off the left side. Aggressive defense there by Duff. Big, strong defender is Duff. Played his junior A for the Edmonton Eclipse, who eventually became the Blues and moved to Sherwood Park. Long story, but that franchise was definitely at its best when it was the Eclipse, and that's when Duff was there spending his junior A career playing vigorous defense for the Edmonton side. And he's taken that defensive acumen up into senior, and he's been a very strong defender for the Miners now for the better part of a decade. Here's Wengreniak. Wengreniak off the left side. He goes underneath. And he tried to tuck that short side. They're going to say he stepped in the crease. Probably broke the plane of it as he jumped sort of straight up. And it'll be Miner ball. Here's Bergloff. Bergloff just tried to send that over to Sonicson. Now Sonicson picks up the loose ball. He looks. He dishes. Tried to get it to Triolo on the backdoor pass as he tried to sneak in behind the defense down low off of that right crease, but the ball didn't connect. But now the Outlaws with an unforced turnover, and Jason Riley's going to grab that and hand it off to the Miner offense. Seen some really slow changes here in this game so far by both teams now, as they're having to work with like 13 seconds on the shot clock because they're not getting out onto the floor very fast. Here's DiGirolamo in behind the net. Ball ends up with Triolo as he directs traffic once again up top. Now a Miner gets sent down. That's Sonicson. He's banged up. He's going to hold his ankle here as Anderson tried to send one into the far crease. Backdoor look to Christensen, and they'll blow this dead, and Sonicson is going to try to make his way off the floor. And if you're the Miners, it's something that you can't afford to have, as this is a roster that's been reconstructed over the course of this past winter with a lot of guys moving on, retiring, and moving on to different teams. And Sonicsen's a guy they picked up about mid-season from the Senior C Warriors. And he's been a big addition on that left side. And if you're the Miners, you don't want to see him miss any time. We wish him the best. Here's Wingreniak. The ball was sent out in front to Royer, and he's going to pick the loose ball up. One hands that in on net and goes wide, and the Miners are going to pick the ball back up. Here's Milne. Fakes a little bit of a flip to Lentz, and now he'll throw it over to Anderson. Anderson comes down in on the left side. Anderson slips inside, and that was a good save by Cavalinas as Anderson went with a little bit of a slip pick and caught the ball right on top of Cavalinas, and Cavalinas shuts the door. Here's Royer. And he goes up top, plays catch with Horlak. Royer, a little bit of a hop step. He's met there by a couple of aggressive Miner defenders. That's Walker and Sharon. Now the ball gets sent into the far low corner, and the shot clock's going to expire. It's going to be Miner ball with 4:50 to go first period. They lead 1-0 as the Miners come up over center with it. Christensen. Sonicsen makes a quick return back out onto the floor. Triolo back to Sonicsen, and not able to bring that in with Sonicsen. The ball was a little bit high, and those can be tough when you're cutting through like that and have to look up for it. And it'll be outlaw ball. Here's Rye. Osterman swings it over to Wingreniak. Dangerous lefty sniper. Down low to Birdney. Birdney. Up top to Tokar. Tokar flips to Osterman. And shot sent in, handled by McLeod. Ball's going to go loose as Osterman and Riley tie up for it. Now the ball bounces further down the boards and eventually is picked up by Gillespie, who tried to hit Milne, but he was in heavy traffic with two outlaws right around him, and it'll be outlaw ball. Couple of unforced turnovers here early in this game by both sides. Something that you can bet both staffs are going to want to see cleaned up. Bit of a sloppy first period. Here's Osterman up top to Rye. Wingreniak. Pick comes from Birdney. Wingreniak looking for somebody to dish it to. Nobody there, and now he's grabbed by a couple of Miners as he steps in the crease, and it'll be Miner ball. As the Miners offense will hit the floor once again here. And if nothing else, there should be some continuity because you're seeing the same 6 or 7 guys hit the floor for both offenses here pretty consistently. As that was a bad pass sent way behind Triolo. It'll be outlaw ball. Another unforced turnover. As we were just talking about, we'll see if these teams, and you could bet that with the amount of talent that's on both of these rosters, you would expect them to clean things up here in the next couple of frames. Here's Royer. Looked like he slipped a little bit, but that ball gets to Osterman. Now Royer is going to be pushed back, and he had no choice but to send one in on net, goes wide, and it'll be another shot clock expiration. Miners doing a very good job forcing those shot clock expirations. There's been about 4 or 5 of them already in this game, and we're only about 18 minutes in. Here's Bergloff up top. Triolo swings it back to Bergloff. Bergloff, Anderson, pop step, up across the top, and he fires it. Good stop by Cavalinas. See some of that shiftiness and quick first step by Anderson makes him so dangerous. Now, Christensen picks up a loose ball after he initially missed the pass. And good stop by Cavalinas, and bit of a 2-on-1 here. This is Nielsen with it for the Outlaws, and that was blocked by a Miner stick before it got to McLeod. That hits him, as I said, it hit a Miner stick, so it'll be an outlaw possession here with a fresh 30. 1-0, the Miners still lead with 1:50 to go here, first period. In a quick moving first period, as it's only about 23 minutes of real time we've spent here during this game, and we're already underneath 2 minutes. Very few stoppages. And here's Sharon. He sends it over to Gillespie as the Miners transition will pull it out. Now Gillespie hits a wide open Christensen who was uncovered off the bench. Another slow change for the Outlaws. It's 2-0 Miners. And that's something, again, that's just killing the Outlaws. Just not quick on and off the floor, and you can't give Matty Christensen an opportunity like that. Some of the better sets of hands in Alberta Senior B, and he makes no mistake there. Miners lead 2-0. And now Tokar off the draw. Quick loose ball grab. Tokar in. Good stop by McLeod. As that went into the midsection of the goaltender. Now behind the play, a bit of a tie-up. But West Kendall with a close eye on that. That disperses, and now the Miners will come up the floor. Here's Anderson. Anderson up top to Bergloff. He's going to be checked there by Nielsen. The ball pops loose. That's sent down at the feet of Triolo, and it'll be an Outlaw possession. Now, somehow the Miners came back up with it over off the left side, and that goes wide, and now the Outlaws will now pick it up. Finally, the Outlaws head up over center as Rye sends one in, maybe looking for a 2-for-1, but now they're really just going to end up giving the Miners last possession with about a 5-second, 4-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. Here's Triolo. So the Miners are going to pull McLeod and go 6-on-5. Sonicson up top. Sonicson over to Christensen. That ball swung over to... And eventually it's Triolo inside. They say the buzzer went before he got the shot off. Now the Outlaws will send that down the floor. And they're going to say too many men on the Miners. As the goalie was already well out onto the floor. And they still had 6 men. But as time expires here, we're going to head into the first intermission with the score. And the Edmonton Miners 2 and the Beaumont Outlaws nothing. Again, that's the Miners 2 and the Beaumont Outlaws nothing as we send you into the first intermission. We thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Hit that subscribe button. We'll be back with you in just under 10 minutes' time. And we welcome you back here inside the Ken Nickel Arena for second period action between the Edmonton Miners and the Beaumont Outlaws. The Miners currently with a 2-0 lead, and the Outlaws will be going back to the power play, however, as the Miners sent a sixth guy onto the floor as McLeod was trying to get back into the net as the period expired. So the Outlaws will have an opportunity to cut this lead in half right off the jump here. And of course, as we talked about off the top, the Outlaws in desperate need of a win here as they try to track down the Rebels for that fourth and final playoff spot in the Alberta Series Lacrosse. And the Miners trying to track down the Mountaineers for the first seed as they sit 5 points back with about 4 games to go. So a ways for them to go. They got to run the table, and basically what has to happen is they have to run the table and hope that the Mountaineers drop at least 2 of 3 to the Knights as they conclude their season. The President's Cup, of course, being held in Oakville, Ontario, back east this year after the Miners hosted it last year. And that's going to be another stacked tournament. So you can bet whoever comes out of Alberta is going to have to be playing their best lacrosse. So we pick it up here with the Outlaws on the power play. Here's Horlak off the right shooter. Horlak, Birdney. He swings it over to that right crease as Royer tried to feed it inside. Ball goes loose. Back to Royer. Royer winds and fires, and McLeod's been sharp here early in this game. Very economical in the net. Nothing fancy, just taking things as they come, and he's looked quite good here through a period plus. Here's Birdney. Up top to Royer. Royer inside, and that got knocked down by Milne as he goes to the boards, and the Outlaws regather that loose ball. When Greniak up top to Rye. Here's Horlak. Horlak back to Greniak. When Greniak goes low on McLeod, and McLeod takes that away. But it will be another reset with 45 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Here's Rye. Pick set there by Horlak. A little bit of a seal, and then what a save by Cam McLeod as Royer with a quick release on the quick stick off of that crease. The Miners come back with a little bit of a 2-on-1, and the ball got slowed up by an Outlaw stick. What a save by Cam McLeod as he's announced his return to this Miners roster emphatically here as they still hold that 2-0 lead here early in the second period. And the ball gets swung over to Levi Anderson. That was Levi Anderson. Ball goes wide. As he said, it hit an Outlaw stick, which I think it did. It went out of play, but they're going to say Outlaw ball. Cam McLeod, of course, spending the 2023 season up until this point with the New Westminster Salmon Bellies in the WLA before deciding to come back to Alberta, where he spent the Miners 2022 President's Cup campaign with Edmonton. Here's Royer. When Greniak down low to Birdney. Birdney tried to swing that over to Osterman. Ball gets sent over to Birdney, who is tied up. And now the loose ball is going to be battled for, and the Miners will just let the shot clock go and get a fresh reset here. Here's Sharon to Triolo. And if there's one guy on this Miners team now with ball gone to New West and Lachlan out for the year, it's going to be Triolo that you really have to watch and key in on. Ball is going to bounce back out to center. Now, they gave him a reset. Triolo up top. Back to Anderson. Anderson off the left side. He turns back. And he tried to get it back up to DiGirolamo. The ball's going to go off of the boards, and he's going to bounce out. Bit of a 2-on-1 opportunity here, but Nielsen changes. And so Renault is going to have to fend for himself here, and he's going to be pressed here by Milne. Milne ties him up and takes him down. Loose ball is going to be picked up by Lentz, and it'll be Miner ball. Outlaws leaving Renault all alone there. He really didn't have much support. And those are the kinds of things that are going to kill you over the course of a 60-minute game, especially against a Miners team that just knows how to win. Here's Bergloff up top. Bergloff down low to Levi Anderson. Anderson swings it over to Triolo. Triolo winds and fires, and that ball got slowed up a bunch by a couple of bodies and almost bounced in, and now they're going to say back in on the Outlaws, and it's going to be Miner ball. And as some spectators are speculating beside me, I don't quite know how that was called back in because I didn't see anybody actually step in, but either way, Miners are going to go to work here with a fresh 30. Here's Triolo. Triolo. Pick set there by Christensen, and Triolo turned the corner and whipped that on net, but it went wide. Triolo's going to hop off the floor as he looked like he got a little bit banged up, maybe rolled his ankle a little bit. It's obviously something the Miners can't afford. As Christensen sent one in wide of the net, the ball's going to bound back down the floor. It's going to be Outlaw ball with the dangerous Joe Royer going to work with it. He sends it up top to Burdney. Burdney over to Horlak. Royer back around the net to the right side of the floor. He tried to hit Burdney back door, and that was dropped. And now here's the Miners. Levi Anderson, breakaway, and he fires it far side as he faked short, went around Cavalinas, and deposited it into the open side. It's 3-0 Miners. And we've seen the Miners now score all their goals really in transition. You saw Christensen on a breakaway, Anderson on a breakaway, and Triolo off of a 2-on-1 look with Williamson early in this game. And those changes are something, again, the Outlaws are really going to have to clean up. And just basically just awareness on the floor, reverse transition. Things that definitely that are within their control and things that they can get better with. We'll see if they are able to do so with just over 14 and a half to go here in the second period. Here's Bergloff. Bergloff up top to Anderson. Anderson swings it over to DiGirolamo. The kid out of Vermilion. Swung that over to Burak. Burak is going to collect it off of the reset. And the Miners will go to work with a fresh 30. Here's Burak up top. Burak to Anderson. He tried to get it inside to Bergloff, who was just off of that far post. Now, nice flip pass inside to Burak from Anderson. The ball's going to go loose, picked up by Bergloff, and he's going to shoot that back in on Cavalinas off of the rebound. It'll be Outlaw ball as Cavalinas traps that against the cement. And probably smartly, I don't even think this is intentional, as it was pretty caught up in his equipment, but not a bad time for the Outlaws to have a little bit of a break in the action here and regroup. Here are the Outlaws up floor. Tokar swings that over to the far side. Here's Horlak. Horlak, drag move. Tried to go far side with an underhand. That missed. Tokar's going to pick up that loose ball. Tokar with a hard shot from the wrong side of the floor, and he forced McLeod to make a relatively difficult save from where he shot that from, and more importantly, he gets the reset for the Outlaws, who are in desperate need of one here as we approach halfway through this game, and they're still not on the board. Here's Burdney. Burdney tried to hit a cutting Royer down low. Now it's back up with Osterman as he fires that right into the crest of McLeod, and it'll be Miner ball. Here's Ryan Walker with it as he's going to jog the ball out over center. Walker to Triolo. It's good to see he's back out on the floor after what looked like a little bit of an ankle injury. Much of the same as what it looked like with Sonicson, and he's also back out on the floor, and he's with the ball right now. Sonicson up top. The dangerous shooter comes in, and that's stopped by Cavalinas. And now the ball's going to be picked up by Renault for the Outlaws and sent to the far side. Now off the bench. Here's Royer. Royer in. Faking, and that's stopped by McLeod as he did a good job of getting across the net. Royer trying to do what Anderson did just a few minutes ago by running right across the net and faking short and going far. And this time McLeod able to do what Cavalinas wasn't and get across and make that save. Here's Needham. Over to Wengreniak. Outlaws are going to jog onto the floor here. 15 on the shot clock. Wengreniak, a little bit of a drag move. And he fired from low to high there. That was a really good stop by McLeod. And now they're going to say too many men on the Miners. The Miners bench does not like that. But either way, it's going to be outlaw ball. Here's Royer off the right side. Swings that over to Wengreniak. Here's Tokar. Tokar winds and fires, and that's going to be stopped by McLeod. And here's the Miners, and another really nice outlet pass by McLeod as he's really started the Miners transition game, which has been the difference in this contest so far. Here's Christensen. Bergloff. He sends that over to Triolo. Triolo swings it back over. Ball's going to be knocked down by an outlaw stick. The ball's going to bounce up over center. It's going to be picked up by Anderson. Anderson just going to roll that into the corner. It's going to be outlaw ball. So a good defensive set there by the Outlaws as they look to try to crawl back into this game. 3-0 isn't a massive hole, but at this point, 3-0 almost feels like 8-0 with how hard goals and looks have been to come by. They're going to have to start going right now, and it's going to have to probably be Wengreniak who fires it in on McLeod, and they're going to blow this one dead. As that it looked like off of McLeod's head. They're going to signal for water. The goalies will take a little bit of a break here on CROW LAX TV, and we will be right back with you here in just about a minute. Bit of a off the break. Royer fired that short side. It bounced up off the board. It's going to be picked back up by Joe himself. And now he sent it out in front to Wengreniak. That gets knocked down by a Miner. And now Royer is sort of pushed into the corner, well off ball, but no whistle comes, and it's going to be Miner ball. Triolo. As the Miners are going to slow play this one a little bit as they get onto the floor. Here's Bergloff. Bergloff to Anderson. Anderson fires it, and that was a nice shot as he pulled it back to the short side, and even better stop by Cavalinas as he got his hand on it. And now Anderson tried to go back to that short side again on the pull. This time going wide, and now they're going to say... And now there's a mix-up here because official Isaiah Raju did signal 30 or reset. It did go off of Cavalinas' hand, but Sean Reed... Now he's being told, yeah, so a little bit of a miscommunication there, but it was a reset. Should be Miner ball here, and it is. So after the officials do a good job of getting together and letting each other know what was going on there, it'll be Miner ball. Here's DiGirolamo. DiGirolamo with it. Christensen. Backdoor to Sonicson, and he fired that right off of the leg of Cavalinas. Short side, and it's going to be outlaw ball. Here are the Outlaws. That's David Lehman in transition. He comes over center with it. Now he'll stop up. Get it to Horlak. Horlak to Wengreniak. Birdney down low. Birdney swings that to Tokar. Tokar down low to Horlak. Horlack fires, and that went off. Man, the Miners have blocked and soaked a ton of shots here tonight and really helped McLeod out. Now Tokar with a little bit of a shot as he came out in front, trying to get the reset. They're going to say that he didn't get out in front enough, as shots that come in from behind the net don't get awarded resets, and that's what happened there, so it'll be Miner ball. Here's Anderson with it, left side. He flips it out in front to Bergloff, who wants a holding call. He's not going to get it. As here's Osterman on the long pass from Cavalinas. He tried to go around McLeod back to the side that he ran away from. McLeod with another stop, and it'll be Triolo with a hard shot. If Cavalinas stops that, it'll be outlaw ball. Here's Gillespie with it. Gillespie runs around Sharon. Gillespie in on McLeod, and he takes a low shot. That's stopped by the Miner netminder, and it'll be out Miner ball here. With Sharon coming up with it, waiting for somebody to hand off to. Here comes DiGirolamo. DiGirolamo over to Christensen. Christensen winds and fires. He tried to go far side low. That went wide. Now a nice backdoor pass, Sonicson to DiGirolamo, and that was a nice stop by Cavalinas as he got across to that far post. Cavalinas starting to hold the Outlaws in this one right now, answering the saves being made by McLeod in the other end. The Outlaws need the next goal. You can just feel that right now. If the Outlaws don't get the next goal, it's going to be a real uphill climb. Here's DiGirolamo on the wrong side of the floor. Ball's going to bounce loose into the stick of Cavalinas. He looks for someone to outlet to. Another really slow change here by the Outlaws. Nobody really supporting the ball, and now Lehman is going to have to get the ball up the floor for the Outlaws, and he hits Royer with a nice pass. Here's Royer. Royer to Wengreniak. Wengreniak looking to shoot. He will shoot, and that's going to be stopped by McLeod. You can see some of the frustration starting to build for some of the Outlaw O guys as Wengreniak wants to dish, but really nothing for him to dish to when he's having to take shots that, as much of a shooter as he is, he probably doesn't really want to be taking because they're not from the best areas of the floor. Here's Triolo. Triolo sends that wide up over top of the net. The ball's going to bounce down into the Miner zone. And off of the shot clock expiration, it'll be outlaw ball. 6:20 to go here, second period, and a very quick moving game here from Ken Nickel Arena. Miners lead 3-0. And here is the ball with David Lehman, who's out playing some offense now. And I kind of wondered when this might take place, as they need something off the left side. As he took a hard shot in on McLeod. McLeod got an arm on that. And now the ball's going to be picked up by Michael Gillespie for the Outlaws. When Greniak is going to go to work off the left side here with Lehman. Over on the right side, the ball swung to Osterman. Horlack. A little bit of a seal down there by Tokar and Osterman. Ball back over with Lehman. Lehman winds and fires as he goes far side low. And that's a big one for the Outlaws as the lead is cut down to 2. It's Miners 3, Outlaws 1. And as I was just saying, I was wondering when that personnel change or addition or whatever you want to call it was going to be made, because Lehman is a guy who played a ton of offense in the junior A ranks and even early on in his senior career can really shoot the ball. And you saw it right there. It makes a difference for the Outlaws. It's 3-1 Miners with 5:32 to go in the second period. Here's Royer. Royer is going to be tied up there. Now he's going to pick up the loose ball. And then Royer out in front. And good patience there by Royer to try and tuck that back over short side on McLeod. But McLeod kept his shoulder up just long enough to fight it off. And that was excellent work by both guys there. And McLeod has been really sharp here in his debut for the Miners. Here's Anderson. Out in front with the crease dive. They're going to say he broke the plane, and it's going to be minor ball. Outlaw ball, excuse me. As the Outlaws come up with it. Here's Osterman. He tried to hit a cutting Horlack. That goes awry into the corner, and Burdney's going to pick it up. Try to get that over to Horlack. Horlack picks that loose changeup. Horlack looking to flip. Now he does. Shot comes in there on McLeod. Easy stop there for the netminder, and another nice outlet pass. You can see the type of air he puts on those. Makes it really easy for his teammates to catch, and it's a really underrated characteristic, and it makes a world of difference for your transition game. And as well as he stopped the ball, he's thrown the ball just as well here tonight. Ball is sent in well high over top of the minor net. Ball is going to bounce down into the zone, be picked up by Cavalinas. 4 minutes to go here. Second period. Miners 3, Outlaws 1. In what's really a huge game, especially for the Outlaws, if they want to try and track down the Rebels for that final playoff spot. Now the ball's going to bounce loose, and Morgan's going to pick it up for the Miners. He's going to get the ball across floor to Anderson. Anderson to Sonicson. Sonicson with a little bit of a pick and roll to Anderson, and he tried to go short side, sneak that one inside the near post. Cavalinas with another good save there. Now the ball is going to be thrown away and picked back up by the Miners, who throw it away again. Now the Outlaws are going to pick it up. Gillespie is going to send it back to Nielsen. So the Outlaws are going to look to try and get some type of possession here with 18 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And with only 10 seconds to go, they finally get into their set. Here's Royer. Royer. Pick set there by Horlack. And nice shot there, and a nice stop by McLeod as Royer tried to go far side. Hard swing pass there by Lehman to Royer. Goes off his stick into the corner. And he's going to be bowled over there by the much bigger, stronger Duff. But they get the reset there as Burdney ends up picking that up off the left side. Here's Horlack. Horlack, nice dish inside. And Royer's going to survive it. Hard check there, stay on his feet. Lehman winds. Lehman swings that back over to Royer. Royer dances up top. Royer off the wrong side of the floor, sends one in on McLeod. It's going to be minor ball. 2:15 to go. Second period. Miners leading 3-1. Triolo, Birak. Bergloff winds and throws that into the stick of Cavalinas rather innocently, and now the Outlaws are going to look to break up the floor. Nothing's there, so Cavalinas will elect to hit the near man, and now Needham is going to hit Wengreniak off the bench. Here's Wengreniak. Burdney with the pick. Ball sent over to the righties. Osterman dishes inside, and that was a tight pass as Horlack was tied up by Morgan, and now the Miners will go up floor. Here's Triolo in transition. He winds and fires and blasts that into the short side top corner. And again, the Miners in transition, killing the Outlaws. It's 4-1. The Miners actually haven't scored a goal yet in a 5-on-5 set or a power play. It's all been transition. Triolo with a couple, Anderson and Matty Christensen burying for them. And all their top guns have gotten on the board, really, and the transition game is what's been the difference. Here's Milne off the draw. And that's probably the last guy you want to see winding and firing in transition is Triolo. It's so effortless, and he's got so much steam on those shots, and he gets them off relatively quickly for such a big guy. It's hard for the goalie to handle. Here's Sonicson. You know, he can rip the pill too. Sonicson. He tried to work his way in, and he eventually lost the ball, and the Outlaws are going to head up floor. with 48 seconds to go here. They're going to want to try and get a good look here before we hit the second intermission. Here's Wingreniak. He rolls off of Williamson. He's going to go to work here one-on-one with Williamson. He goes underneath Williamson, and he had a little bit of a severe angle. He got that in off of McLeod. They're not going to give him the reset. I think they're going to say he broke the plane of the crease, and it's going to be outlaw. It's going to be minor ball. Here's Christensen, as the Miners are going to have last possession here of the second period, leading 4-1. Bergloth swings it over to Triolo, who's just going to hold here and say, wait up, guys. Here's Triolo. Hard pick set there by Christensen. Triolo ends up getting doubled, still gets a clean shot off, but that's stopped by Cavalinas as the Outlaws are just going to hold this. Now throw it down the floor, but the period was well on its way to expiring, and at the end of 2, it's going to be the Edmonton Miners 4, the Beaumont Outlaws 1. We want to thank you here for joining us on CROW LAX TV as we provide Junior B and Senior B action here all through the summer, July and August to go, right through the provincials in Beaumont for the Junior Bs. Of course, tonight we're providing Senior B action. And again, it's the Miners 4, Outlaws 1 as we head into the break. We'll be right back here with you on CROW LAX TV. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you in 10 minutes. As we come back inside the Ken Nickel Arena, it's the Edmonton Miners leading the Beaumont Outlaws by the score of 4-1 as we go into the third period. The Miners really making their living in transition in this one, and the Outlaws are going to have to clean up their reverse transition and how quickly they're hitting the floor and getting off, because it's really hurt them in this one. Both goalies playing quite well, and Cavalinas, no blame on his side, obviously, and McLeod has been a rock for the Miners. And again, the Outlaws really needing this one to try to climb back up over the Rebels for that final playoff spot, as they sit 1 point behind them right now. And the Miners trying to track down the Mountaineers for that 1 seed. A long way to go for the Miners, as they'd have to run the table, winning their last 4, and hope the Mountaineers lose at least 2 of their 3 remaining games, all played against the Knights in Calgary. And off the draw, the ball's going to go to the far wall, where the ball's going to be picked up by Gillespie. Nathaniel Gillespie will come up over center as he throws that over to Lintz. Lintz to Anderson. Anderson down the left side, as the rest of the Miners' offense hits the floor. Anderson picks it there by Bergloff. Nice flip pass. Bergloff winds and fires. That goes wide. Then Christensen looked like he was going to pick it up. Didn't in front of the net, but then goes and gets the loose ball. But they're going to say shot clock violation. It'll be outlaw ball. First 5 minutes of this period are really important. The Outlaws likely going to need the next goal to have a realistic shot in this one. Here's Horlak. Horlak. Wingreniak. Birdney swings that over to Tokar. I'm surprised to see David Lehman not out on the offensive sets right now, as they did get some good looks, and he, of course, was able to bury one for the Outlaws. He ended up playing a few more shifts, but haven't seen him since, and I feel like they might need to look to get him out there again and provide another threat off that left side. Here's Triolo. He swings that over, far side. Sonicson. Triolo tried to hit Bergloff inside. That got knocked down, and Cavalinas is going to send Nielsen up the floor. Horlak. Royer. Up top to Osterman. Osterman. That's fired in on McLeod from Greniak, as he looked like he punched Sharon in the face out of frustration. And that's going to draw a call. And the Miners will go to the power play, unless, of course, they score on the 6-on-5 here. But play's blown dead. And it'll be a roughing call on Wingreniak. And with a 4-1 lead, the Miners' power play will go to the floor. The Outlaws historically have really struggled with the Miners. Since 2000, the end of 2013, the Miners are 27-1-1 against the Outlaws. 27-1-1. And the only loss coming in the 2019 season opener, where the Outlaws won 13-9. And the Outlaws are going to need to do a lot of work here to get back in this one, as the Miners lead by 3 and on the power play here in the third period. Ball's picked up by Sonicson. Sonicson up top to Anderson. Inside to a cutting Bergloff. That was shut off nicely by Cavalinas. Outlaws look to get a big kill here. Here's Bergloff. That looked like it went off of the shaft of the stick of Cavalinas. Miners get a reset off the loose ball. Triolo tried to send that back up to Anderson. Had to throw it underneath the stick. Anderson goes and collects that. Anderson fires it. Far side low on Cavalinas. It's 5-1 Miners. As I think I wish the Outlaws senior side invested in the same. I don't want to call him a DJ. Maybe he is a DJ. I don't know. The same PA and DJ guy that they have for the junior team, because that guy blasts music. Does a good job of getting some energy into the building. Pretty quiet here tonight in Ken Nickel Arena. Despite actually a decent-sized crowd, a little bit better than you might have expected when the game started, as it was pretty empty. But there's a decent amount of people here now. Here's Anderson up top. Anderson inside, nice flip pass to Bergloff. That's stopped by Cavalinas. Here's Christensen. He throws it up top to Triolo. He wants to space the floor. Christensen works on the right side with DJ Alamo. Ball goes loose. Ball's going to be picked up by Lehman. Here's the Outlaws. Tokar with it. He goes to Osterman. Osterman threw that in behind Royer, who was cutting through the middle. Stopped up, sort of in between both sides of the Miner defense. Ball missed him, though, and now he ends up getting a shot off the right side. That was easily stopped by McLeod, and the Miners will head north. Here's Morgan. Morgan to Burak. The Miners with Sonicson off the left side. He threw that into the feet of Triolo. That goes out of play, and it's going to be outlaw ball. And now, coming up on the 15-minute mark of the third period, the Outlaws are going to need a run, and they're going to need a run right now before possessions get too thin and time gets too unrealistic. Ball was fired at the net by Horlock. That went way wide. Wouldn't have hit a soccer net. And ball is going to bounce back down into Cavalinas' stick, and it's going to be Miner ball as the shot clock expires. Here's DJ Alamo. As the Miners' offense really won't be in any type of rush here as we go underneath 15 minutes, and they lead by 4. And now Triolo gets underneath his defender, tried to reach around Cavalinas. Saw him score like that once already. This time, wasn't able to tuck, but the Miners get a reset. Here's Christensen. Christensen takes a couple of hacks. Bergloff on the swing pass. He shoots that in on Cavalinas. Now the ball's going to go loose, and Gillespie's going to start up with it. And the Outlaws offense is going to slowly make its way onto the floor. 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Wingriniak. Nice backdoor feed to Royer as he goes right into the open net off the quick stick, and it's 5-2. And those are the two guys that are going to have to do the brunt of it offensively for the Outlaws as they finally connect on that backdoor feed and cut the Miners' lead to 3 goals. Real good look there by Wingriniak as he waited for Royer to clear that Miners' defense backdoor and sent that ball through the seam, and Royer made no mistake. Here's Lintz. Off the draw, he gets it up to Anderson. Anderson gets the pick set there by Sonicson. Sonicson rolled to the middle and picked up a loose ball after the pass was knocked down, sent it wide, and now with 12 seconds on the shot clock, the Miners will look to get a shot off before it expires. Here's Anderson. Thought he had it. It fell out of his stick, and now Sonicson grabs the loose ball. He goes out in front to Bergloff, who held on to it and then tried to send one in onto Cavalinas from behind the net. Hit his back, but as you know, watching at home by now, if you've been watching CROW LAX TV, or are just familiar with the sport in general, you don't get resets. It's not considered a shot from behind the goal line. Here's Royer. He goes down underneath. Now comes back up high with it. He's looking for somebody. He's going to be pressured by Riley. When Greniak pops around a check. When Greniak winds and fires, and that goes wide. It'll be minor ball off of the shot clock violation. And now, official Sean Reed's going to say that clipped a minor. So it'll be outlaw ball with a fresh 30. Here's Birdney. Down low to Greniak. Greniak. Up top to Osterman. Osterman around a pick. Greniak into a wide open. Well, Birdney was wide open, but he elected to go to Royer again, back door. McLeod was already over there. Pretty easy stop. It'll be minor ball. Here's DJ Alamo. Down low. Back up top to Bergloff. Anderson, hop step, up top. Fires it. Good stop there by Cavalinas. Now the ball swung over to Triolo. Cavalinas stops that as the ball goes back down the floor. As McLeod is going to toss this up to Sonicson. 22 on the shot clock, 12:04 to go in the game. Miners 5, Outlaws 2. Right here from the Ken Nickel Arena. Sonicson is going to collect that loose ball. He swings it over Triolo. He sends that well wide off the far side. Ball's going to roll down the floor. And DJ Alamo is going to go back to get it. Here's Christensen. Couple of stiff checks and pressure there from the Outlaws. Christensen got that in front to Triolo. He tried to send that one in on Cavalinas. He fights that off. And they're going to signal for water here. And with the score, the Miners 5, Outlaws 2, and 11:35 to go. We'll take a quick break here, and we'll be right back on CROW LAX TV. And so the Outlaws will start with it deep in their own end, as Tokar is going to get the ball up to Birdney. Birdney to Greniak. Greniak. Ball is going to be picked up eventually by Horlak. Grab. Tokar to Greniak. Greniak. Birdney out in front. Birdney tried to reach around McLeod. Good stop there. And now Gillespie will travel out over center. And Christensen will start up the Miners offense. Ball's fired into the near corner to Triolo. Triolo up top. Sonicson winds and fires, and that's stopped by Cavalinas. And now Needham has a breaking Renault up floor. Good job by Renault to recognize the opportunity, but the ball was slow to get to him and then bounced over his head. And the Outlaws need more of that. They need to try and get out in transition and try to get some easier looks. It's going to be hard to generate a whole lot against the Miners' defense right now. And they need to give the Miners a little bit of their own medicine and try to get out in transition and get some of those looks. Here's Bergloff out in front to Sonicson. Now Sonicson with no stick is going to be pushed into the corner by a couple of Outlaws, and it's going to be Miners' ball, which was pretty obvious. Not too often you're going to be able to push a guy without the ball, without his stick, into the corner and get possession awarded to you. Here's Triolo with a delayed penalty coming up against the Outlaws, something they could not afford at this point in the game with 9:50 to go, trailing 5-2. Here's Anderson. Triolo off the right shooter. Up top to Anderson. He winds and fires. And he tried to go low. Cavalinas doing a good job to shut off the lower part of the net. And the Miners' power play will go to work. Now the Miners are going to take a timeout. And with them about to hit the power play, we'll take another quick timeout. You're watching a Senior B action on CROW LAX TV. So as we return here, the Miners' power play, fresh off of a goal, will go back to work. Anderson's going to work at the top of it. Anderson fades to the shooter. Now Triolo off of a pick from Bergloff gets the shot. That was sent wide, and Triolo will casually go and grab the loose ball. Triolo up top to Anderson. Anderson behind the back pass. That was taken by Bergloff to the far side, and that was a good stop there by Cavalinas. Been really impressed with Cavalinas' work here tonight. He's gone toe-to-toe with McLeod on the other end. Now the ball is going to be sent up floor, and it's going to bounce down the floor. But Greniak had it momentarily. It's going to pop out of his stick, and Triolo will grab it and get it to Anderson. A little bit of pressure there by Greniak, and Anderson will step around it. And the Miners' power play will head back up the floor. Here's Anderson. Anderson. Over to Triolo. That went high and wide. Triolo up top, winds and fires. And Cavalinas crouches down, makes that save, and now they're going to say Nielsen went back in off the loose ball. It'll be Miner ball. And if the Outlaws weren't able to get that last kill, and that being that important, this one is twice as important, as they're going to need to survive this one to have any real shot in this game. Now a reset's going to come here for the Miners with 8:19 to go, third period, and them leading 5-2. Triolo inside. Bergloff tried to go low. Here's Anderson up top. Now that's picked off by Lehman, who's going to race out over center. Lehman's going to show some speed here as he takes Anderson down the floor. And now he gets deep into the Minor zone before sending it back to Nielsen. Good job by Lehman to make sure the rest of this kill is taken care of. And now Nielsen is going to send a wild sidearm in on net. Goes wide, and the Miners are going to collect here off of the shot clock expiration, as Cavalinas had no choice but to send that up into the ceiling. Now there's 3 balls on the floor. As that ball hit the ceiling, I think it popped out at least 1, if not 2. And now we'll reconvene here with the Miners having possession. 5-2. Miners leading the Outlaws here from Ken Nickel Arena. 7:30 to go here on a Wednesday night. Di Girolamo up top. Circles back. Sends it over to Sonicson. Sonicson swings it over to Triolo. Good stick there by Needham for the Outlaws, and now Gillespie's going to come out over center with it. As his Rebels teammates in the fort will tell you, the man affectionately known as Pepsi Mike transitions the ball for the Outlaws, and now Osterman up top. Osterman with Greniak. Greniak comes up top with it, fires it off of the bar with a bullet short side. That almost went bar down, but stayed out, hit the ceiling, and now a delayed penalty is going to be called on the Miners. It'll be Williamson going to the box. So the Outlaws are going to have to get one here if they want any real shot in this one. Williamson going to the box for a holding. 6:48 to go. Miners 5, Outlaws 2. So it'll be Royer up top, with Osterman and Wingreniak on the shooters, and Horlak and Lehman on the creases. Here's Wingreniak, Royer. Royer fades to the shooter position. A little bit of a seal set there by Osterman. And ball's going to go loose. It's going to be picked up by Lehman. So Wingreniak and Lehman play catch off the left side. Here's Royer. Shots taken by Osterman. And you can see the Miners box sort of cheating over to the left side. They're trying to take the shot away from Royer up top and Wingreniak on the left shooter. And they wanted that shot to come from the right side, and McLeod was able to handle that. Here's Anderson on the left side. Miners in no rush here. Down a man, up 3, late in this one. Triolo fires that wide. It'll be over and back, and it'll be outlaw ball. In what is a key possession here, which could be their last possession of the power play, trailing 3 with 5:51 to go. Royer up top. Osterman. Royer fakes a pass. Back pedals. And he's going to fire that down low to Lehman. Wasn't able to handle that. Now Duff, the big man, is going to come out over center as he just uses his size to get through Royer. And now the Outlaws are going to come up with it. Just some of the things you see on a Wednesday night in the Senior B action in Beaumont, Alberta. You can see Royer laughing as he jogged off the floor after. Here's Wingreniak. He fires that off of the shoulder of McLeod. 11 seconds remaining on this power play. Lehman to Royer. And Royer fires that into the paraphernalia of McLeod. And the Miners look like they're going to kill this one off. But now Osterman with a nice strip on Riley. So the Outlaws will get a quick possession here after failing to score on that power play. Again, a little bit of a slow change, which just killed the Outlaws here. And Renault's left by himself here to get it up over center. Can't imagine coaches Paul Ryan, Kim Ellis are all that happy with the way that their players have changed in this one and gotten on and off the floor and handled reverse transition and getting back and all those things that add up. There's guys out here that played lacrosse a really long time. I know they know better. Certainly have the talent and the skill. It's just a matter of doing the little things sometimes that makes a difference in these games. Now a wild hack by a couple of Outlaws on Anderson as he went underneath. And now they're going to take another, I thought they were going to say officials timeout, but it will be an Outlaws timeout this time around. With 3:47 to go. Outlaws trailing the Miners by a score of 5-2. We'll be right back with you on CROW LAX TV in about a minute's time. So off of the timeout, it'll be Outlaws starting with the ball deep inside their own end. It'll be Royer running it up. And the Outlaws are going to go 6-on-5 here with the net empty as they trail by 3 with only 3.5 to go. Here's Wingreniak with it, looking for something. Nothing there, and he's frustrated. He's going to jog off the floor. When Royer is just going to be forced to take a long outside shot. Ball's going to bounce loose, and it's going to roll right into the hand of McLeod. And here the Miners are going to come up the floor with it. Triolo, as he does often, is going to direct traffic. Anderson, joined by Bergloff off that left side. And nice backdoor feed to Christensen, who snuck in behind his defender. And nice feed by Anderson. And that, if this game wasn't done already, it feels like it puts the icing on the cake. It's Miners 6, Outlaws 2, with 2:55 to go. Definitely very quiet in here right now. Interesting vibes here tonight. Here's Lehman. He sends it down the floor to Joe Royer. Orlak is going to be whacked by Kim a couple of times before Kim retreats. Outlaws again, net empty. Wingreniak off the left side. Nice pass up top. Orlak tried to go short side or far side, low. That misses the net, and now with the shot clock winding down, it's going to be Miner ball. They will, and it does, yeah. Referee Sean Reed is going to say delay a game, so the Outlaws will go to the box with 2:22 to go. Already down by 4. As their bench isn't too happy with that call. Nothing over the top, as I think they realize it's pretty academic at this point. And here are the Miners, as they're just going to hold this. I doubt you see anything really sent to the net until, I don't know, 4 or 5 seconds on the shot clock. As no, the screen is not frozen. Just no rush are the Miners. Triolo winds and fires a absolute bullet. There's really no wind-up or anything on it. It was just a sidearm low to high that just ripped up. Might have caught a piece of the crossbar. I think it did as they reset the clock. And those shots are really tough for a goalie, as there's no wind-up. You can't really read the shooter. And that was a hard riser that just caught the top of the crossbar. Anderson. Couple of head fakes, and then he throws it behind the back pass to Bergloff, who sends it through the Outlaws netminder. That's Cunningham now in net. It's 7-2 Miners. So, with 1:24 to go, I think it's safe to say that the Miners will pull up to 7-3-1 and get within 3 points of the Mountaineers, as both teams have 3 games remaining in their respective seasons. And the Outlaws will drop to 1-8-2 and remain 1 point behind the Rebels, who would hold a game in hand. But both teams do meet 2 more times before the end of the regular season. The ball is going to be drawn back and picked up by Gillespie. And another delayed call is going to be coming up here to the Outlaws. So Miners are just going to hold this in their own zone. A lot of size out on the floor here for the Miners right now, as Lentz, Triolo, and Milne are all on the floor right now. Now the ball is just harmlessly thrown in on net, and the whistle will go, and the Outlaws will head back to the box. This time it's Nielsen going to the sin bin for holding. Don't expect to see much here from the Miners. I wouldn't even be surprised if they don't even shoot the ball here. Hold it for 30 and get this thing under 30 seconds and basically just let this game play out. And coming up next for the Outlaws, there'll be a massive game as they take on the Rebels this weekend. I believe that's a Sunday afternoon game, if I'm not mistaken, without having the schedule right in front of me. And the Miners will take on the Rebels at home on Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock, I believe. Going totally off of memory as Triolo just grabs the loose ball, jogs back into his own zone. He'll go high-five McLeod, and the Miners will go to 7-3-1. Stay in firm place of second place in the Senior B division, while the Outlaws will drop to 1-8-2 and remain in the basement. Again, final score here from the Ken Nickel Recreation Center. The Edmonton Miners 7, the Beaumont Outlaws 2. And I think it's probably safe to say that the top two stars anyway of this game were the two netminders, as Cam McLeod and Scott Cavalinas both played quite well in this one. Again, final score, Edmonton Miners 7, Beaumont Outlaws 2. We thank you for joining us here on CROW LAX TV, with you here all summer long, covering the Junior A or Junior B and Senior B divisions, right through the provincials in the Senior B loop. And you can hit that subscribe button and be notified every time we go live. And we wish you well here on this Wednesday night from Ken Nickel as the Edmonton Miners defeat the Beaumont Outlaws 7-2. Thanks so much for joining us, and so long, everybody.